Bookworms. I have just completed a book that left me guessing right until the last chapter. It was a ride. This book is a pure roller coaster of a ride. Bookworms, welcome to the Weekend Readers Book Club. Thank you again for joining us. In this episode, we are discussing, as I've just completed book 3 for 2023. That book is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. Now, this book was nominated for a Goodreads Award in the Best Debut Author category, or Best Debut Novel. In addition to that, also the Mystery and Thriller category. Didn't win any of those awards, but did get nominated, and that is why it came up on my radar as just something interesting to read, because if you got nominated on your first book in 2 categories, I'm like, hey, you're doing something well. This book by Stacy Willingham, it's a story about a young woman, Chloe. Now, the unique thing about Chloe is in her preteen age, it came out that her father was a serial killer. So for all her teenage life to adulthood, she has lived with the burden knowing that her father was a serial killer and was caught and is currently incarcerated, for these murders. However, now as an adult, and at the 20-year anniversary of these murders, a copycat has came about, and she feels that this copycat is stalking her, and this story just follows Chloe's story, and just the huge web and roller coaster of everything going on in her life, taking on board current times, and then flashbacks to her past on what happened, prior to her father being incarcerated and being, told that he was a serial killer. Now, I've just finished the book, and as I said, this book is a roller coaster, but boy oh boy does Stacy Willingham just set the narrative in A Flicker in the Dark with the main character and her supporting cast. Goddamn, Chloe's story is amazing. Both current time and her recollection of what went on when she was a preteen around her father, and just being able to explore the actions that took place that she recalls based on the actions that her father took. And it was, I don't know, it came across very, I won't say traumatic, but very, very understandable, in the sense that as if this person was there, I could relate, because this is the shit that they would be going through, you know what I mean? It was such an amazing good read. It was, wow. The support cast was great in this book as well. Chloe's partner, Chloe's brother, the local police, a few other supporting characters which I won't name. The mother's story as well. That was heartstring pulling, just to be able to be told what the mother went through when finding out her husband and the father of her children is a serial killer. And damn, man, this book is crazy, and in a good way, and what I've just described doesn't even touch base on what the overarching story is, because it's just, that's the main, that's part 1 of the narrative, is the fact that she has to live with this burden and this understanding that her dad did what her dad did. But on the second part of the narrative and the story is that there's a copycat on the loose. So you throw all that in and you're just like, this story's completely bonkers, but in such a crazy way, and in such a great way. It left me guessing up until the last chapter, and I'm going to admit that I won't say what I thought was going to go on, but in relation to the copycat storyline of the story, I fluctuated between a few people, man. I'm not gonna say I didn't. And Stacy Willingham puts lovely plot points in the story to make you guess and second guess and change your guesses. And it was absolutely amazing. I really, really enjoyed A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. And if this book here was nominated for Best Debut Novel and Best Mystery Thriller Novel and didn't win, I'd hate to know. Well, actually, I'm intrigued now to know what did win Best Debut Novel and Best Mystery Thriller at the Goodreads Awards for 2022. So that might be an extra avenue I go down. But in saying that, in relation to A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham, I absolutely love this read. So with this being said, the question is, will A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham be going onto my bookshelf? The answer is yes, absolutely. I am trying to now get my hands on the new Stacy Willingham novel. That one I'm getting through the libraries. I'm on a wait list. But her writing style and the way in which this book came across, absolutely love. This read was very easy. It flowed. It was just such an enjoyable read where it was, great. I can't say anything. Actually, I will say one bad thing about it. Now, the one bad thing about it, and I'm going to admit, I think Stacy Willingham is a genius in relation to this. I don't know how other people read, but I read chapter to chapter. I don't like to stop halfway through a chapter. If I'm going to stop reading, I stop at the end of the chapter and then come in fresh, when I pick the book up again. Every chapter in this book is 5 pages long, 5 to 6 pages long. That was my only negative critique about this book. Because if you read chapter to chapter and they are 5 to 6 pages long, you read your chapter going, I'm just going to put it down and maybe go to sleep. I found myself going, oh man, I've got to a really good part. Okay, I'm just going to read one more chapter because it's 5 to 6 pages. Oh man, I got to another good part. I'll just read one more chapter. I found that I couldn't not stop reading these goddamn chapters. And I was up a lot later than what I should have been. But it was enjoyable. And I'm going to say, if that's the only bad thing about this book, is the size of the chapters, because it makes you want to read more because you're invested in the story. Bloody genius by Stacy Willingham. Gotta say it. Now, as it customs here on the Weekend Readers Book Club, as one book closes, another book has to open. And it is now time to find out what the Weekend Readers, the next read is. And Bookworms, we can confirm that the next read is Baby on Board by Stephanie Zaya. Now, this book was in the box that I had picked up from a book fair. I reading the back blurb, I'm like, okay, don't know why I picked this book up, but hey, Baby on Board by Stephanie Zaya. You are the next read for the Weekend Readers Book Club. So Bookworms, that was the episode today for A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham, a book that I absolutely loved, a book that has made my bookshelf, the book that I'm going to go out now and endeavour to find out the next Stacy Willingham book to give that a whirl, and hopefully that blows me away like this book. Now, you can feel free to follow us if you'd like. We are on Instagram and Goodreads under the name Weekend Readers Book Club. We also have a podcast that you're listening to, which is available on any podcast provider, and YouTube under the name The weekend readers. Once again, thank you for joining us. And until next time, bookworms, happy reading.